Hi, my name is Ashley and I am forgiven. I was 21 years old when the world around me just kind of started to seem like it was crumbling. I was at a point in my life which should have been the peak of any young adult's time. I was in college. I was really active in my sorority. I was in several leadership positions on campus, and then just suddenly I found myself in the midst of a horrible romantic heartbreak that was very sudden and very public. So in an attempt, I would say, to run away from the embarrassment, to run away from the shame, I found myself in the arms of a friend of mine who had become that person in my life that was always my source of comfort. We had developed this gravitational pull towards one another of whenever something was going wrong, we were the way that the other person found solace. Well, out of that time of comfort, we created a child. And I found myself pregnant, 21, in college, not even in a committed relationship, and I was absolutely terrified. We talked it over and decided that that was not the decision that either one of us wanted to take when it came to the path for our lives. We were within this beautiful box that society had given us. I was on the path to a wonderful career as a journalist. I was active in my community. He was doing great things in another city, and we just didn't want that to be something that would confine us from all these big dreams that we had. Not realizing that at the time, that actually put the biggest amount of bondage on both of us that we'd ever experienced in our life. So much weight and so much shame came out of that, and I carried that guilt into so many relationships after that. Not knowing at the time, it was affecting me spiritually. I had always somewhat had a relationship with Christ. I say that if you're Southern, you kind of are a Christian by default because we just grow up in that atmosphere. But I didn't really have my own personal relationship with God. As I learned to develop that relationship with Him, this thing that I had kind of buried beneath the surface started to come up again. And I started to kind of question, well, what does God think of me when that whole idea of everything that we've done, all of our sins are forgiven with the crucifixion of Christ? For some reason, it was easy for me to accept that God could forgive what we call regular sins. That He could forgive me lying, or He could forgive even if I did something that was more socially acceptable, but that I always carried that weight that was just something that was unforgivable, and I led my life just as if I was needing to still be punished. After I got married and I was pregnant with my daughter, I spent the first few months of my pregnancy terrified that I would have a miscarriage. I thought that was going to be my punishment, and that if I did have a miscarriage, I deserved it because I had decided not to keep that child so many years ago. And it wasn't until I was speaking with a friend of mine and she told me, don't let the enemy steal this time of joy away from you. That's what he wants to do. This is a blessing from God, and you deserve this blessing from God. You didn't have to earn it, but because you are His, and because you are chosen, and because you are forgiven, He wants to bless you in that way, and I want you to experience every ounce of joy that comes with it. I found so much healing in that, and I want to encourage whoever is watching this right now to experience that same kind of freedom. Whatever it is that you have done in your life, there is no sin that is so great that God's blood didn't cover it. My sister, you are forgiven. You are made whole. He loves you. He created you and He designed you to live the life that you have lived. And through every up, every down, every shortcoming, know that there's nothing that you've done that is so great that He cannot bring you back into His arms.